happen for myself and my family. There's no way that this is real, man, it can't be.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Modify Your Life podcast, where I am your host, Anthony Lopez, also known as Heavy to Modified. And here on Modify Your Life, we talk about modify your life mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. And today, on our second podcast of our first ever series of, my Modify Your Life podcast with our co-host, Modified Frankie.
And Big Tuna.
Thank you. Yay. Anyways, on our second episode of our first series we've ever done. For those of you who didn't listen last week, go check that out and then come back to this bad boy. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. I'm going to say it right now because you're going to get some value from this. For those of you who didn't follow along for last episode, we talked about why haven't you achieved your goals, and some gave you guys some homework. All right, so now we're going to get into number 2, right? And I feel that this is very Disney, and I feel this is another part of why we're not achieving our goals, but I feel this is going to be the next step into making year 2025 the best year possible. Best year yet, right? Because you are worth it. You are successful. You actually know what? You are worth everything you're willing to fight for. Say that and be honest with that one. Is this? Let it go.
Let that ish go.
Let that ish go. Do you have my phone? I didn't bring my phone with me.
No?
I need a phone when you shoot a podcast. I was just trying to see
I
the
have
time.
mine.
What's yours?
Don't go through my DMs.
No, ain't nothing's drier than Mississippi River, girl. Anyways, actually Mississippi River is wet. Anyways, all right, let it go. I feel this is going to be a great topic. I feel it's very corny of let it go. I feel like people that clicked on it was like, let it go. It's pretty Disney, right? But this is something that is going to help you become better.
It's hard.
If you don't know what I've done, if you don't know what Modified Frankie has done, I will tell you this. We have changed our life around by the power of getting our health together. And in that part of getting our health together, we had to get our mindset right. And there's a lot of stuff that's happened to us in our life that we don't realize that we hold on so tight because we start using it as an excuse. For the longest time, I would constantly revisit me not having a father, or my mom being a single mother, we could say, or some things in life that I didn't get to experience. Maybe some things that people had told me growing up, or some, rough situations that I've been in, or just a simple fact of thinking that I just, started off without being upper hand because I was overweight. And some, when you're overweight, people are mean to you. I'll be 100% honest to you. Girls are not nice to you. It's difficult. It's I always say, like, the worst parent a parent could be is someone that is overweight and allows your kid to be overweight, because it's not fun being overweight. But on my journey of healing and understanding who Anthony Lopez really is, there was a lot of things I've had to let go, right? And I feel like, Frankie, you're going to shine on this podcast a lot more than me, because my outlook is just got to do what I got to do, right? And with a lot of self-development in the middle of it, right? So mine's going to be very quick, and then we're going to share a couple of ways you guys can start letting things go and how amazing it will be if you start focusing on these tasks. Because remember, our goal with this series is you becoming the best you 2025. Right. And then we'll get into it. So for me, there was a lot of self-hatred and self-doubt because I never really achieved anything I felt that was like good. Right. I felt like I got a little further, a little better, and then I stopped. Like we were talking about our last podcast. Yeah. And along with that, I realized that I turned that self-hatred, that self-doubt into excuses why I can't do this anymore.
It was everyone else's.
It was, no, not yet, not there yet.
Okay.
Right. And then I would get mad because my family was too loving, right? Like, they're so nice to me, they made life difficult, right? So then I would get mad at them for that, right? Or why didn't my family tell me that I was overweight? Well, they did tell me I was overweight. I just didn't pay attention. I get mad, I get frustrated.
Just tell you in the loving way.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Or, people don't understand that it's just a lot harder to be overweight, so, I can't really do that stuff. Well, it's my fault that I was overweight. And as I came up with these excuses of why it's everyone else's fault, I never really realized that regardless of who I blame, it's up to me to fix it. Right? So there's a lot of stuff in the past that I remember in elementary school, me liking a girl and asking her to Valentine's Day dance. And they knew that they told me to ask her, and they knew that she was already going with someone. And then they all laughed when I asked her because it was all a big joke to them. Like, stuff like that, I had to let go and realize, like, and I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be very honest with everyone right now. Very, very honest and blunt. I go back to their Instagrams sometimes, and their all life fucking sucks.
I was just gonna ask you.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
petty.
I
I'm
I was
100%
like,
petty. I have no problem being honest. And people be like,
I
oh,
hope
well,
they're fat now.
never paid. Well, I don't wish fatness on anyone, but their life doesn't
They
look
deserved
fun.
it.
It doesn't look fun. And you know, it's just that's what allowed me to realize that I've spent my whole life trying to impress people that ain't shit. Honestly, I need to impress myself, right? I need to impress my girl. I need to impress my younger brother and sister, right? That's a new one too, right? I love that. But without letting go of all this past, you know, hate and
baggage.
and the baggage,
Yeah.
I couldn't overcome the obstacle because it was like a freaking 10,000 pound weight holding me back. Because once you start getting a little pushback, I remember all the bad stuff that's happened to me and all those things I've turned into excuses, and it was easier for me to cope that way. It was easy for me to realize that, oh, well, I grew up without a dad. But as I try to make these excuses, yes, I grew up without a dad, but I grew up with amazing uncles and aunts and grandpa. You know what I mean? So there's always positive inside this negative story there, this negative, chapter that we have, but we're so focused on the negative, we can't really see it.
Yeah.
Right. So by me continuing to hold on to these baggages, I'm really just hurting myself, because the people that brought the harm to me, the emotion, the feeling, the whatever it is, they're living their life. They don't remember this stuff.
Hell no. That's the worst part.
Yeah, right? They don't remember it. They don't care.
Realize the weight their words carried.
Yeah. And how long was I going to let it be an excuse before I realized that it was me that was the problem? Because I'm still holding on to it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, like a lot of us will get like that conversation of like, oh, well, your aunt has thyroid problems. Oh, I have thyroid problems. It runs in the family. No, nothing runs in your family. That's our problem, is we don't run. Right? You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Now, I'm not saying there's not people that don't have it, but 90% of us don't. We just use it as an excuse, right? Oh, like, oh, I can't lose weight because of this. No, I don't think, and comment down below if you think if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's anything in the world that makes you gain weight. I know that there's things that slow down a weight loss, like PCOS.
No, there is, but it's medical.
Like
it's medical.
lymphedema, I know that will put on weight, but it's not like fat. It's just
steroids.
a mass.
Yeah.
And now, it
Medical
doesn't
steroids.
make you gain weight. It gives you your appetite.
Oh, that's what you mean.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
So like, yes, it's gonna suck, but like you said in the last podcast, your deck sucks right now.
Change it.
But you could start to change. No, we can't change like some of the medical things, but you could work towards, like, for instance, I had talked about previously, I had a client who was trying to get on a list, and there's things that he can't change, but there's things he can change to get his list on the list faster. For everything in life.
For an organ, right?
Yeah. And so everything in life, some things suck. It sucks that you picked a husband or a wife that is not a team player with anymore. It sucks that you got cheated on. It sucks that you left. It sucks that you're 600 pounds. It sucks that you can't barely wipe your ass. It sucks that no one wants to hang out with you because you smell weird. Whatever it might be, it sucks. But during this time of suckiness, you could take that and you could change it.
Let it go and change it.
But yeah, the first thing is you got to let it go. You got to accept that you're the problem, even if you don't really think it, because no one ever thinks of their problem right away. And once you let that baggage go, you work every single day on becoming better. But until you let go of all your trauma and drama and childhood, whatever you went through, until you let that shit go, you're going to constantly be running a hamster wheel. Yeah,
because it's only hurting you at the end of the day. And that's the worst part.
Yeah. You know about this. Share it.
A little too much. I'll go over one that seems to always bite me in the ass if I'm not checking it. So growing up, traditional Mexican household, you are to be a virgin until you marry, and then you can leave your house. I actually lost my V card pretty old to the standard of America now.
She's for the streets.
Yeah, for the streets. So I was actually 19.
Damn, 19?
Yeah. Check this out.
She must have been ugly.
Because of the way... Oh, you piece of shit. Because of the way that I was raised, I always had this thing where... I don't know if you catch your parents growing up where they'd be like, oh, my daughter would never do this. And did you hear what so-and-so's kid did? And blah, 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 right?
That Mexican gossip, that tea is good.
And I never wanted for my mom to ever say, my daughter would never blah, blah, because I want her to know who her daughter is.
Well, I think that's why they do it. Because if you think about it, it's like a manipulating. It's like a manipulative
100%,
sentence, right?
100%.
Like, oh, my kid will never drink alcohol when he's
Yeah.
18.
Like, yeah, she'll never get pregnant.
But I was drinking
blah,
Four
blah, blah.
Locos
Oh
at
my God.
18. My mom, no,
So I wasn't even living at home at the time, but it was public knowledge that I was a virgin. And I've always been someone who has a smart mouth. And I've always been very honest. And
true?
I told my mom, I gave her a call. And I didn't live with her. But I said, hey, I need to tell you something. And she starts immediately crying. And she was like, oh my God, you're pregnant. And I said, no, but I am going to have sex. And she was like, why are you telling me this? And I'm like, well, I'm telling you this because when you have your cheesemate with your homegirls, I don't want you to say or you think your daughter's something else. And
life.
then, but this is kind of where I'm going to. Growing up, I always heard, once you're tampered goods, you kind of have to stick with what you got. Meaning, if you pick the wrong partner, but you decided that you're going to lose your V card, you might as well stay with him because no one else is ever going to take you serious. So
It's so interesting like that. Like, because just hearing you say that is like, imagine you buying your first car and that car is a dud, right?
Yeah.
It's most likely a Ford because everyone knows Fords suck. Chevy gang
Ooh,
up, right?
fighting
Oh,
words.
I just pissed off some people right now. They're in their Ford, right? Anyways, just joking.
Driving in their
Happy holidays.
driving home.
Make it home safe if you
Yeah.
drive a Ford. Anyways, and like you realize you never like a Ford again.
Yeah.
It's like, no, sorry. The first car you bought was a Ford, so you never can try a Chevy because you've already bought a Ford. Like, and in my head, that's what like that just sounds crazy, but it's like that old school thinking of like you can't make mistakes. Like you have, but our parents, like your mom had you at a young age. My mom had me at a young age. So it's like, what do you mean we can't make mistakes? Like
I think we get held to a different standard, but so because of like like how I told you before, like words carry a lot of weight, especially when you're younger. And again, if I'm not catching myself, I go into those spirals because the person that I was with that I decided to, take that step with was horrible. And I, at the time, thought how I was raised, made your bed, now you lie in it. You deserve to be treated however this other person treats you because you made this mistake. So I took on a lot of, not physical abuse, but a lot of different kinds of abuse until I decided that there has to be more.
Then you're worth more than your mistake.
And then I'm like, and if there isn't more, then I'd rather be by myself because this is not a life that's worth living. And then I met you. And then like
Lucky.
low key.
Nailed it.
And then you kind of like over the years have like deprogrammed all of the stuff.
It's been a lot of work, guys.
Yeah. And I don't hold this against like my parents or anything because that's what they were taught, right? So like, and I realized my mom is just a girl, just like me. And my dad probably did the best he could too. Like it's just, they didn't realize what they were doing. They had the best intention, but it didn't go that way. But then it was kind of like your job to deprogram all of that. Because I felt like whatever you say is cool.
And I hate that shit. And it's so, well, let me take it back. At my heaviest, at my weakest as a man, I love that I would love for you to be a yes ma'am. Or yes man, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But where I am today in life is that I don't need yes men in my circle. We shouldn't want yes men in our circle because yes men in your circle will hold you back, right? They will keep telling you what you're doing is right. It's like people who support these people who do mukbangs, who are started off at 150 pounds and now 200, 300 pounds. You are watching someone, you are cheering someone on that's killing themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is just, to me, is just disgusting.
Yeah.
Right now, and where I am today, before every man wants a woman to listen and obey him, but I didn't even deserve the respect from you because I wasn't even leading as a man in the household.
Yeah.
And understanding what I need from someone now, which is you, right? Is I don't need you to ever match my energy, but I need you to check me because I feel like that's why we work so well with each other. Now, as we got to jump into our new
and be my own
characters
person
and be your own person,
right?
And understand that you couldn't have done that until you've let go of everything that you're talking about right now.
Yeah,
And
I
that
had to
and that how
really
long did
let
that
it go.
take though? Like, please explain to not. And I hope that because Frankie's talking, the guys are like, oh, I can't relate with that, because that's what we guys do, right? We hear a woman talk and we think like, well, it's not relatable. Bullshit, dude. I'm a grown ass man who still,
Can apply it to
can apply it to
something that
something in
would-
my life,
Right.
Right? I know I want to know why my dad wasn't in my life, and I'll never know because he's dead. He got murdered.
Oh,
Got stabbed to
got
death.
dark.
No, I'm just being honest though. So I could always relate it to like, oh damn, like there's a lot of questions I would have, and like, why was it like that? And it took a long time to let that stuff go. Like this just happened a year, 9 months ago, a year ago, whatever it
Yeah.
might be.
So to answer your question, like it's been work. It's been a lot of work since I didn't realize it was a problem until I got in a healthy relationship. So like you challenged me a lot. Where it came to like disagreements, like you would say like disagreements are okay. And
Okay.
I'd be like, "Oh my God,
We're gonna break up.
we're going to break up." And it's like and then the communication was like horrible. I'd be like, "Okay, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to scream at you, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm not going to talk to you for 3 days."
Try me.
And you're like, "No, we're resolving right now." And
Or
I'm
you
like,
leave
"What
me.
do you mean we're resolving right now? Don't we need a cool off period? Don't we need to cuss at each
We're
other?"
not buying a gun.
And you're
It's
like,
like California
and
laws.
You tell me like, "You don't have to yell." I'm like, "How fucking dare you?"
Well, I'm just, I'm very blessed on how I was raised and what I've seen. Now, my dad and mom's relationship is not my moral compass of relationship. My grandparents' relationship is what I've got to see. Now,
I adopted that
my
one.
mom's brought a lot of value into my life, and the best mom I could ever have. Hands down, wouldn't replace her for anything, right? Even a millionaire one, and I love money. But the morals and my moral compass of a relationship and what I want to be as a man,
you wanna
what
emulate?
I want to emulate is my grandma and grandpa. And I know that, things you have to work for this stuff. And I didn't know what I was doing. I started dating when I was 21 or 22 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's, but what I did see is two people make things work and build a great family.
Yeah.
What I did know is that this shit's going to be a lot of work. And I did realize that you were damaged goods, but it wasn't because you weren't a virgin. You were damaged because you said you were told something for so long that
And
you
it got
started
embedded into my
believing
head.
that you put yourself in this own cage that you're only worth this much in life. And that's not true. And we do that and take away what your parents told you. We do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm only worth this much because this is all I'm willing to do. But that's not true. That's why there's people that are born into horrible households and horrible deck of cards, and they're successful and they get themselves out of the mud. They build themselves a better and healthy lifestyle. It takes a lot of time, but it's letting go of the past trauma and realizing that that is always part of your story. That is a big chapter in your book, but that's not that last chapter. Like it's like watching a movie and you not liking it, but you can never not watch the movie, but you can never unwatch the movie, but you don't ever have to watch it again.
Yep. And that's crazy.
Right? Like it's
How you
you
put
don't
that in
you don't ever
perspective,
have to
yeah.
watch it again. It's there. You've seen it.
So if you watch it again, you're making that decision.
You're revisiting that
What you
time,
don't like.
what you don't like.
Yeah.
That is going back to your ex every single time. That's a horrible person, or that whatever it might be. Right?
Yeah.
Like, why do you do that to yourself? Because you haven't let it go. You need to let it go. Now you're gonna have your what's the word? What is it? Intuitive?
And yeah.
Intrusive?
Intuition?
No, like the bad thoughts that just randomly pop in your head.
Oh shoot.
I forgot that word. Someone
something
remembers.
thoughts.
Comment down below.
Intrusive thoughts.
Intrusive thoughts. You're
Yeah.
going to have the intrusive thoughts because you've been negative more than you've been positive. So when you get to a point in your life where you failed, you're going to have intrusive thoughts. It's okay. You're human. You're going to remember. You're going to remember the day you failed, the smell of it, how you felt.
Your body's
You're
gonna have a
scared.
reaction
You're gonna have
to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're going to want to fucking eat your life away.
Yeah.
But that is just because your body your brain remembers what happened last time you were at this point. But you have to work on letting this stuff go, because if you continue to hold on this baggage, you are literally trying to run with the anchor tied to your feet.
And there is a huge price that you will pay if you don't let shit go.
We're only here for like an average of like 70 years. And 15, 20 of those years, we're growing up. So realistically, you're like from 20 to like 75. So it's like, how long are you going to run with these excuses before you start realizing that, they say it's never too late. And I agree with that. But I think it's cooler. I think it's cooler. Well, it is for the people that didn't wake up today because of their overweight or because they let their addictions win. Right? That's very true. It's too late. But also at the same time, don't you think it's better to never be too late in your 20s and 30s than maybe your 50s and 60s? Well, or my biggest fear is to die unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Like if I were to die today, tomorrow, if I were not to wake up, just know that I died a fucking happy camper. Mm-hmm. Right? But imagine if I would have died 600 some pounds with COVID.
Yeah. And we've recently been talking about what you just said. We have been reflecting a lot and we're like, damn, like we're in our mid 30s. Like we really threw away all of our 20s.
You know, interesting. You said that because I was thinking about the other day. I couldn't sleep. Shout out to anemia. Right? And I was thinking, hear me out. Okay. I'm not trying to make an excuse of what I did in my 20s was good. Uh-huh. But if I didn't do what I did in my 20s and you didn't do what you did in your 20s, then we could have like a 9-to-5 job and be mediocre. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like say we did get fat. Like, yeah, like say like, no, like what I'm saying is like, even though we feel like we threw away our 20s really did help mold us into who we are today. So it's like, it's very true. And really how you look at things, there's no mistakes. There's no regrets. Like I would do it again. Honestly.
Everything.
I would do everything again. Everything. Just being 100% honest. I would do everything again because
you know what?
With the outcome of knowing that
we would
be here. Now, this was a big gamble. Getting to 650 pounds is definitely a gamble, right? You know what I mean?
It was an unconscious decision.
It's an unconscious decision it was a conscious, unconscious decision.
What was a decision
but
you did unconsciously?
I feel like, there's a lot of things that in life that I've went through that it's allowed me to be who I am today, which is corny and cliche, but I needed to go through it. I needed to move out when I was 18 because I didn't agree with certain things that going on in the house. I needed to lose my grandpa and go through depression so I could help my best friend go through his depression because I didn't believe in depression.
He didn't believe in mental health.
I needed to, sit down and have a serious conversation with you to make sure that we head the right direction. I needed us to bump heads and argue and figure out where we're going to go with life in order for it to get closer. Like, I needed all these things to happen. I needed to become suicidal because I needed to respect life a lot more because I feel like I was just living life on the edge, right?
You needed all the mistakes.
I needed all those mistakes in order to make myself. Now, what I needed to do faster or what I wish I would have done sooner is stop blaming everything and let stuff finally go and so I can make the change a little sooner. But at the same time, it is what it is.
And we're here.
And we're here today. Because think about it, like for you, like how much stronger of a woman are you that you've went through verbal abuse and what you've overcome? Like how much, like you're not like one of those girls like that goes to something like it's the end of the world. Oh my God. Like you're a very strong woman because of that.
Well, I've endured like every kind of abuse you can growing up by, different people. This is my karma.
You flinch?
I'm just kidding. But I'm going to agree with you to say that it's all been worth it. However, like you really have to let it go completely because even though like how we were saying before that you've helped me a lot to let it go. But when I don't check myself, if I haven't fully healed from it, it'll come back. But it's up to you to decide if you're going to let it consume you because even though I've made a bunch of changes and all this stuff, like that stuff has still haunted me. And even this year, like we had like a really rough patch in our relationship because I couldn't let shit go. And thankfully, why do I always cry? Thankfully, like I have such a good partner that he'll like snap me out of my shit. And he's like, hey, like you are a badass, but I need you.
I don't say the B word. She wants me to say it. I don't like that word.
No, but only when I do scary stuff, I tell you have to call me a bad bitch.
I do.
And I'll only do it if he calls me that. But he told me, he's like, you're such a fucking badass, but I need that to come out of you again because you lost it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck.
I just, fuck, I just see the good. I hold you to a high standard, but I also know that you're someone who I'm going to marry one day. You're someone I'm going to have a kid. You're someone that is going to be home when I'm going to be out working, and your fundamentals, your moral compass, your thought process is going to be the majority of the thing that's raising my son or daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be the one that's going to, you're my backbone to a lot of things.
So you want me to be a full
I want you to be
person.
a fully healed person.
Yeah.
And I want you to be a badass, because we don't have time for weak here.
Yeah.
We don't work for other people. We make our own money. If I do not work, if we do not post, if I do not help people, if I do not do things right,
you slow down.
If I slow down just a little bit, there's someone that's younger that lost more weight, but whatever it is, it's going to try to take my spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't have a yes, ma'am. I can't have someone that is weak. I need someone that is willing to just go and realize that there's going to be a fucking shitstorm. But I can't have you. I'm okay with new shitstorms happening. That's life.
Just not
but
going
for
back
you
to old ones.
exactly. But for us to have old shitstorms because we haven't let stuff go in our past, we are now putting ourselves in that box, or we're now running with that freaking anchor down, and we don't have time for it. So it's like we constantly as humans do that. We will just anchor after anchor of like, oh, this would happen in my life, and this is happening,
and think you're still gonna run on high speed.
But you're not. You're gonna run at your 100%, but you're literally, like I said, a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
You have a weight connected to you. Mm-hmm. And the worst part about that is that you're holding on to a weight that the person who gave it to you no longer remembers. Right? Mm-hmm. Because something you said to me there's something to me you said a long time ago, is that no matter how nice you are, how much you try to help someone, or how much you're there for someone, when you're going through your shit, it's only us. It's only you. Mm-hmm. And they don't even know, because you help them get through the hardest time, but they're not going to reach out to you. Well, the right people will. But majority of the people will never reach out to you and do the same for you.
Yeah.
So you need to let it go. You need to focus on your directory of where you're going in life. And you need to understand that this is your goals. This is your life. And we don't have a lot of time here. So if you've spent the last 30 years of being a complete dickhead, the next 5 years don't need to be like that. And the cool thing about this, right, is that for 27 years of my life, well, we'll say from like when I was high school until 27 years old, I lived wrong. So I was mean. I was an asshole. I talked about things and didn't do it. I didn't follow through. I was not the Anthony Lopez I was raised to be.
Negative a little.
And I was very negative. And I don't know why you even stayed with me, because I did talk to you pretty rude. Because I look back a couple times and like I get cringed out by conversations we've had before, like years ago. I'm like, why did I say it like that? Like, that's so mean, right? I'm not joking.
Trauma?
And yeah. Well, no, it's just because sometimes I just have like these moments where I remember something. I'm like, that was cringy. Why did I act like that? I really do.
Like you'll reflect?
I've even had times recently where I've kind of, whipped my dick around, where I was like, why did I do that? Why did I talk to that person that way? That wasn't nice. And it makes me feel, but just some things sometimes just
but you take the mental note, and then you're like, okay,
I won't let it happen again.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Well, then that's growth.
But understanding that if we do not choose to completely let this stuff go, we can never evolve into that person we want to become.
And you can lose everything.
And you will it's not even
yourself.
You'll lose everything.
Yourself.
Well, yes, lose yourself, but you're never going to progress, because you always have an excuse of why you can't. You'll always have an excuse of why you can't do better, and you'll never actually just shut up and just put in the work and stay consistent and realize that this shit is going to be a long road, but by the end of it, there's going to be multiple finish lines, because there's no just one finish line. There's multiple finish lines.
Yeah, you definitely got to let it go and really, what I hate the most, really take accountability for your own life.
Yeah, it's time for you to self-reflect. It's time for you to just, just be better, and don't focus as we talk about these goals, and you may be taking some notes down. Don't think that this is going to happen in 2025. You're going to get close 2025, but it's not going to be completely done. I've been changing my life since 2020. And I still find some things, and I still hold on to some things, and I still realize that I had a chip on my shoulder, and I've gotten a lot better. I think I've gotten a lot better.
But I think
I'm not there.
The best thing, growth-wise for you has been like you are really big now on self-reflecting and taking accountability.
Yeah, it's because I had a lot of
if something
chip
bad
on my
happens,
shoulder.
like it sucks, but you're not going to be a victim. Be like, because of this, you're like, what?
Where's it at? Oh, this side. We're mirrored. It's
Extreme Ownership.
Yeah, Extreme Ownership. I mean, that's a great book that I've read, that I realized that, your mess ups are my mess ups. And I even do it to as far as being a coach. If my clients aren't hitting their goals, then what am I doing wrong? Now, there has to be a separation in me understanding that I can't force them to do it.
Yeah.
But if I feel that there's better I could do as a coach, then time to take accountability and realize that I'm not giving them my all. Right. That's also mad about getting healing for surgery. And I'm spending all this money to get this iron and this blood transfusion. All this stuff is because I want to make sure. Now, no one's complaining. Why did I have one person? And that person's an asshole because that person is actually going through financial problems and made me feel like it was my fault that he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. And that really sucked because I was on a lot of pain medicine and I was like really self-reflecting. And like, I take these conversations serious. People don't realize it. Maybe I take it too serious, honestly. But at the end of the day, I'd rather take it too serious and be able to want to help someone and just realize that there's going to be some bad people in there.
Couple bad seeds.
But guess what? At the end of the day, I'm not the one that's 580 pounds anymore. You know, so that person's going to continue to live that miserable life until
you lost your lifeline.
And yeah, that's it. I cut them off just like that. Right? That's what that kind of goes to the podcast conversation. Let it go. I let that client go. Right? And I wish the best for him. And I hope he becomes better and success. But at the end of the day, he's never going to change until he really decides to realize that he was a problem and he needs to stop blaming everyone else. Because like I said, I'm not 580 pounds anymore. He is. And that's one thing as a coach it really sucks is that you have to see people not see the best in themselves. Now, it is my job to always see the best in them, but you can never force them to do better. Yeah. Right? So as we have these podcasts and we have these conversations and we share this knowledge about letting things go, work on it. And don't work on becoming perfect. Work on becoming better. Right? Shoot for better 2025. Shoot for consistency. Shoot for above average. Shoot for the best version of you. Shoot for longevity. Shoot for you becoming better as a whole. And I guarantee you're going to be proud of yourself. And if you're not proud of yourself in 2024, that's okay. I was not proud of myself in a lot of years. But I can say this year, ending 2024, I'm proud of myself for more than just what I've accomplished weight-wise, just mentally and physically. Helping people, just a blessing. And I want everyone to be able to feel that way because at the end of the day, it feels good to be proud of yourself, but you're never going to be proud of yourself if you don't put in the work. Period. And that's it. That is
so what's going to be the third one? Because we have 4.
Yeah. So the first one was why we're not achieving our goals. Well, yeah. The next one is going to be let it go. And so I think the second one. The third one I think we should get into is going to be how we write our goals down. And then our last one is going to be, you know what? The next one should be what kind of goal setter are we? And then the last one should be how to create our goals and goal list. And that's all that's like one of the group Zoom calls I had. Remember I do the what's important and I break it all down. So I'll do that and then we'll end that because that will go up the last of the year.
You're getting some coaching right now.
And I reflected on what I said earlier and I think I was like stressing. But I was excited, but this is why I do this. Is to continue to bring value. And I did have like a fucking meltdown about an hour ago, but it was more just because there's a lot on my plate. But fuck, man, no, you know what's crazy? Check this out, everyone. Before I let everyone go, thank you for listening. Don't forget to comment and like and subscribe. Right here, check this out. So I was having a bitch fit earlier, talking about so much on my plate and da 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 da. Right as I'm 3 new clients closed today. I have a wait list of 300 people. People are reaching out to them now. We're taking on new clients. These aren't fluff numbers. Yeah, no. These are numbers I show on my stories, right? And the how I have the thing on my phone where it shows pictures throughout my timeline. Yeah. Just, I like to be there because it shows random pictures, memories right there. But it's on my actual screen. And the thing said was I'll never complain about my plate. What did it say? Fuck. I was right there. It said I had it saved because I did it on a post. It's I'll never complain. No, never complain about having
too much on my plate.
No, yeah, because I always said I was hungry or something like that. And that literally popped up. I don't know the exact quote, but you guys know what I'm saying.
Leave it in the comments.
And whatever that quote is, right? Don't complain about being hungry because you said that you're ready to eat or whatever. Basically saying, don't complain about the hard work that's in front of you because you said this is what you want to do. And I was like, I swear. If that's not everyone's like, oh yeah, God sent me a sign and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, damn, I'm starting to become that person. I'm like, oh yeah.
He's like, that's so hippie.
That's so hippie.
And then now he's sometimes just wait, that could have been a sign.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I hate that people are like, it's a sign. I'm fighting myself.
You're kind of you're stopping.
But okay, whatever it was, right? Whatever it was.
Divine intervention.
I literally just complained and then
you got your answer.
Got my answer of shut up and keep working hard.
Okay.
And I'm willing to accept that. And I'm willing to be look, you're going through a lot, but at the same time, I'd rather go through a lot and working to become better than have nothing to work on because I quit on myself. That's it, right? It's the people oh my God, I work so much. I'm so busy at work. there was one day where you didn't have a job, or there's one day where your job wasn't giving you a lot of hours, and now you're claiming that you have a lot of hours.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck do you want in life? Are you going to sit here and complain about the things that you asked for? Or are you
said you needed more money, but then you got
then you don't-
overtime and you're complaining
now you're
about
complaining about
having
how
to
much
work
less time you
overtime.
have? Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So I realized just,
Shut
I'm
up.
going to just shut the fuck up and work.
Okay.
Right. Let it go. Self-reflect and come back for our next podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Because guys say, hey, can you guys remind us to subscribe and comment and like and stuff like that? So we've been doing it a lot.
So why don't you comment?
So now it's time for you to comment.
Yeah.
And if you made it this far, you're a badass. Get out there, win, and we'll see you in the next podcast.
With what
titled,
kind of goal setter
What
are
kind
you?
of goal setter are you?
All this happened for myself and my family. There's no way that this is real, man, it can't be.